I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons first. Thank you so much to my Bibliospren, Bibliohowlers, and my Bibliomancers. It means a lot to me that you give me your extra support for my passion and hobby. Hi everyone, Patrick here. It is time for another SFF Spotlight, and today's video will be SFF Spotlight episode 23. And this might be the biggest SFF Spotlight so far, both in terms of big news and also in quantity. Mostly in quantity because we have almost 30 topics to talk about today. So yeah, even though it's only 2 weeks since my last SFF Spotlight video, there's already about almost 30 noteworthy topics to talk about, and I have actually skipped on talking about some of them. So yeah, I will just start immediately. For those of you who are new to SFF Spotlight, this is a series of videos where I talk about book news, new noteworthy release, new cover reveals, and new special editions in the adult science fiction and fantasy genre. So yeah, let's start from book news first, and I will start with something that I am incredibly excited about. So it has been announced there will be a new book and a new series by Fonda. The title of the book is The Last Contract of Isako, and this one will be published by Orbit Books, just like the Green Bone Saga by Fonda, which is one of my top favorite series of all time. I think if you have been following my reviews and my channel, you will know just how excited I am about this, because yeah, I love Fonda's books so much, and I am obviously excited about this new sci-fi duology by her. According to the press release, this book is inspired by samurai movies and Fonda's former business career. The Last Contract of Isako is a searing space opera like no other that takes aim squarely at late-stage capitalism. Get ready to meet an aging contractor, Itmus Isako, whose final mission thrusts her deep into a world of espionage and sword fights on an isolated colony planet. And Fonda also mentioned, The Last Contract of Isako is the cyberpunk samurai space opera that's been percolating in my brain for years. It's a science fiction mystery Shanbara story set on a harsh Arrakis-style tundra planet, but blend in Blade Runner vibes and a touch of John Wick. I'm very much looking forward to introducing readers to Isako. And The Last Contract of Isako is currently slated to be released on winter 2025, so about 2 years from now. I will patiently wait for it. And the second big news to spotlight today is about indie fantasy funs that is hosted by Zack Argyle and Bookborn. If you are an indie fantasy author, make sure to check this out. So this is what Zack Argyle has to say regarding indie fantasy funs. A full year has passed since my wife and I first created the indie fantasy fun, a way for us to give back to the community that has accepted us so wholeheartedly. Last year, we gave 6 no-strings-attached grants of $1,000 to 6 different indie authors to help them achieve their goals. I know from experience that self-publishing has a huge upfront cost. I spent over $10,000 to have Adam Gold narrate the Threadlight trilogy. Fortunately, I had the funds upfront to hire good people and have since recouped those costs. Many others are not so fortunate. Starting from March 1st, we will open up the submission form on the website for all indie fantasy authors. Last year, we had 144 submissions, and we expect more this year. Luckily, some others have already started to pitch in to add more money into the fund. We are hoping to have the non-profit status finalized soon so we can receive further donations for those interested in contributing. So yeah, no need to wait further. If you are an indie fantasy author, make sure to check out the link that I leave in the description down below. This is such an incredibly kind and great project hosted by Zack Argyle and Bookborn, and I think it's really good. It's really cool to see that this has become a recurring thing every year. And moving on to the next news, it is time to talk about Will Wight's big news, and that is a new book by Will Wight titled The Captain. This is not part of the Cradle series. This is a totally new book in a new series, but I have a feeling this one will take place in the same universe as Cradle. And I'm not really a fan of the cover art. I thought that this was a middle grade book, but apparently it's not, and I think it features a space wizard. That's my expectation anyway from the cover art. But more importantly, this one will be published in April, and that is another big news, and I think this is what every fans of Cradle and Will Wight has been waiting for. So the release date for Waybound has been announced. Waybound will be released on June 2023. Waybound is the final book in the Cradle series, and yeah, we are all excited to witness the conclusion to Cradle. And moving on to the next one, this is about Of War and Ruin by Ryan Cahill. And finally, for those of you who are waiting to get the physical copy of War and Ruin, the third book in the Bound and the Broken series by Ryan Cahill, now you can finally do it. It is available to purchase now. I know that this is kind of weird to make this a thing to spotlight, but I got so many questions on when the physical copy for Of War and Ruin will be available, and now you know, it is available now. And the next news is about a Philip C. Quenchell's newest book and series. It will be titled A Time of Dragons, and the release will be on summer 2023, so not long from now. This one will be a long prequel to the Echo Saga series, a 9-book series that I really enjoyed reading last year. I wrote almost 10,000 words of praises with very few criticism on the series, and yeah, it is kinda exciting to finally get another book in the world of Verda, and I expect, based on the world building in the Echo Saga, this one will be even better than the Echo Saga series. It might be even better and epic. And moving on to the next book announcement to spotlight, this will be about Terry Pratchett's newest book. Yeah, apparently there will be another book, a collection of short stories from Terry Pratchett. So this one will be titled, the collection of short stories will be titled A Stroke of the Pen. This collection of short stories supposedly will be Pratchett's final ever new writing to ever be published. And A Stroke of the Pen will be released on October 5, 2023. One more topic before we move on to the next section of SFF Spotlight. So Pierce Brown just announced the third and concluding volume to his graphic novel for Red Rising Saga prequel graphic novel series. This will be the third and final book in the Sons of Varys trilogy, and the title will be Forbidden Song. I've read only the first volume of this graphic novel and I quite enjoyed it. I haven't read the second volume yet. Hopefully the third volume, which Pierce Brown has mentioned to be his favorite with a dash of Les Miserables and Ocean 11, hopefully this one will be my favorite of the trilogy. I definitely need to reread the first volume first before I continue with the rest of the trilogy, and I'm right now in the middle of rereading Red Rising Saga anyway. So that's it for the new book announcement portion in today's SFF Spotlight episode. Before I talk about special editions, let's talk a bit about movies and anime first. So it has been announced that there will be more Lord of the Rings movies by Warner Bros, and I expect that this one will suck like the Rings of Power. Of course, I want the new movies to succeed, but at the same time, I have a really negative expectation regarding this upcoming movie adaptation. I do not think it will go well, but now you know there will be more Lord of the Rings movies in production. Moving on to the next topic toward a more positive news. Well, this one, it has been announced that Silo Saga, I think that's the title of the trilogy, Silo Saga by Hugh has been confirmed to receive a TV show adaptation. It will be released on Apple TV. I haven't read this trilogy yet, but I heard from so many readers that it is, especially the first book, Wool, it is supposedly one of the best dystopian or post-apocalyptic stories to ever exist. So hopefully before I get around to watching the movies, I will read the books first, because I own the entire trilogy already, which were on discount, I think yesterday or a few days ago. I don't know whether it's still on discount right now, but on Amazon, the entire omnibus is currently priced at $1.99. So if you haven't got it and the discount is still there, make sure to get it. So on the topic of anime, I only have two to talk about, and both of them are actually published and produced by MAPPA Studio. And obviously the first one is about Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3. Part 2, which is the last one, supposedly the last one, will be released on fall 2023. I have watched the Attack on Titan final season, part 3, part 1, a few days ago, and I loved it. I think it is incredible. I do have a few criticism regarding the episode, but it is very minor in comparison to the greatness of the episode, and I look forward to finally watching the conclusion of the entire series in fall 2023. And the other anime topic I want to talk about is about Jigokuraku, or Hell's Paradise. The anime adaptation has been slated to be released on April 1st. The first episode will be released on April 1st, and again, this one is produced by MAPPA Studio again. I have read the entire manga series of Jigokuraku. I think it is a good manga. I do think it is slightly overrated though, because the praises for this one has been incredibly enormous and super positive. I personally think it is good, but not up to that level yet. Hopefully the anime adaptation based on the trailer, I think it will be even better than the manga. Hopefully it will be. Now it is time to move on to the next section of SFF Spotlight. It is time to talk about special editions, and today I have 6 special editions to talk about, and most of them are either published by Wraithmarked or the Broken Binding. Let's start from the one published by Wraithmarked first. So first, the Kickstarter campaign for Sufficiently Advanced Magic by Enduro, the limited hardcover edition, is up now. This special edition will be published by Wraithmarked in collaboration with Podium, and Daniel Kamarudin is the artist for the end papers, interior illustrations, and also the cover art. I think this special edition is looking magnificent, and it is fully funded already. If you're a fan of the Arcane Ascension series, make sure to check out the Kickstarter campaign. And regarding the quality of Wraithmarked production, you don't need to worry about it, because what they produced so far, all of them have been of excellent quality. And this is the next one will be for the preview for the Sword of Kaigen special edition by ML Wang, and again this one is published by Wraithmarked. And I think the sneak peek already looks incredible, absolutely incredible, and I absolutely cannot wait to get my hands on the special edition of the Sword of Kaigen. I mean, just take a look at this sneak peek, they look amazing. There is an interior illustration by Felix Ortiz as well, but I will not preview that on today's video because I think that can be considered as a spoiler. But just like the cover art and also the end paper by Felix Ortiz, well, it looks amazing. And Wraithmarked recently just announced another special edition that will be done through a Kickstarter campaign. The title is When Swords Fall Silent by Wraithmarked Creative. And this is an anthology of assassins, and it will feature short stories from Michael J. Sullivan, Mary Brennan, M.L. Wang, Andrew Rowe, David Dalglish, R.J. Barker, Jonathan French, Bryce O'Connor, Philip C. Quenchell, and G.A. Andrews, and more. So that is an incredible list of fantasy authors, and also some of the profits I think will be donated to charity. And the next special edition to talk about is for A Thread of Shadows by G.A. Andrews, and this one is funded already. The Kickstarter campaign is still ongoing, and it features interior illustrations by Omer Burak Onal. So if you're looking forward to get yourself a copy on this one, there is still some time before the Kickstarter campaign. And as I mentioned in my list of priority series video, A Thread of Shadows or The Keeper Chronicles by G.A. Andrews is a trilogy that I really want to start reading and hopefully finish within this year. I heard that it is incredibly suitable to those who love Michael J. Sullivan's books, like the Rhyria Revelations and the Rhyria Chronicles. We still have 2 more special editions to spotlight today, and both of them are published by The Broken Binding. So the first one will be for The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. The Broken Binding just announced that they will be publishing a special edition for The Book That Wouldn't Burn, and I have pre-ordered a copy of this one, but a standard edition. Yeah, I have pre-ordered a copy of the standard edition of The Book That Wouldn't Burn. I think the cover art by Tom Roberts looks absolutely stunning and intricate. But I think as far as special edition goes, so far this one doesn't look too special in my opinion. Unlike the next one that I will be talking about, and that is the Tide Child Trilogy by R.J. Barker, the Broken Binding edition. Just take a look at these artworks by Katrina Paints. There will be 6 end papers, and there will be connecting custom spray edges. I think so far, out of all the books published by The Broken Binding, I think the Tide Child Trilogy is their best one so far. It looks amazing. And this is for the subscription for the month of April until the month of June. So I think I will be getting my hands on this one, and I cannot wait. I love the Tide Child Trilogy. Hopefully The Broken Binding will be doing the Wounded Kingdom Trilogy in the future as well. So that's for the topic of special editions. Now let's move on to the next section, and it's time to talk about new cover reveals. I have 5 cover reveals to spotlight today. And the first one is Defiant by Brandon Sanderson. So the US cover art illustrated by Charlie Bowater. Yeah, the US cover art of Defiant, the final book in the Skyward Quartet by Brandon Sanderson, has been revealed. I think as far as the US cover art goes, I think this one is my favorite of the quartet, but I personally love the UK cover art done by Sam Green so much more than the US cover art. Hopefully that cover art will be revealed soon. And I look forward to reading Skyward for the first time this year. Just like the Keeper Chronicles that I just mentioned earlier, Skyward Quartet is one of my priority series to start and finish this year. I will most likely start reading Skyward Quartet at probably the second half of this year. I look forward to it. And the next cover reveal will be for a sequel to a book that I think I will read at the second half of this year as well. So this one is for the Relics of Ruin by Erin M. Evans, and the cover art is done by Francesca Beralt, which is, in my opinion, the best cartographer in fantasy and sci-fi. Just the best. I love her maps so much. It is so intricate. And the first book is Empire of Exiles. I have owned the advanced reading copy and also the finished copy of Empire of Exiles since last year, I think, and I look forward to reading it for the first time this year. Most likely closer to the release date of Relic of Ruin, which is currently planned to be released on December 2023. Again, I think Francesca Beralt did a great job with the cover art, and I look forward to reading this series. And the next cover reveal is a big one. This will be for the prequel to Legends and Lattes. So the cover art to Bookshops and Bonedusts by Travis Baldree is out now. And the cover art is once again done by Amber Wick, who did the cover art to Legends and Lattes as well, the US cover art. And Legends and Lattes is one of my favorite books last year, and this one, Bookshops and Bonedusts, is one of my most anticipated books this year. Look at the cover art, it is so wholesome already, and I hope I will end up loving this one at least as much as Legends and Lattes. There is even an old puck in the cover art. And the next cover reveal for traditionally published fantasy books, before I move on to cover reveal for self-published fantasy books, this is for Nightborn Coldfire Rising by C.S. Frightman. Yes, this is a prequel novel to the Coldfire trilogy, to the highly praised Coldfire trilogy, which is often considered as a classic in fantasy now. I haven't read the Coldfire trilogy yet. I know that it features a cover art by Michael Whelan, and I hope to get around to it someday. I know that the Coldfire trilogy is a big inspiration to many fantasy authors writing today. The cover art to Nightborn Coldfire Rising is illustrated by Jessica Levi, and it is designed by Adam Aurba. And I think the cover art looks really good. Moving on to the next cover reveal, it is time to talk about self-published fantasy books cover reveal, and I have two to talk about today. The first one will be for The Bonds of Truth by Davish Ashura. This is the fourth book in the Instrument of Omen series, and the cover art is done by Agri Karuniawan, which is an Indonesian artist, and I think that's really cool. I like the cover art as well. I haven't read Instrument of Omen series yet, but as far as I know, this is a Davish Ashura most highly praised series. The release date of this book will be March 25th, so yeah, within this month. That's quite soon, right? So if you're a fan of Instrument of Omens, now you know that the fourth book will be out really soon. And the final cover reveal I will be talking about today is, of course, for The Way of Eden by Philip Chase, the first book in the Eden trilogy, and this is my friend and my fellow booktubers, a Philip Chase debut novel. I have owned the advanced reading copy. Thank you so much to Philip for sending me an advanced reading copy for his debut novel, and I look forward to reading it as soon as possible, most likely within this month, if not the latest in April. And the cover art is done by Kara Gregory, and I really like a stained glass art. Congratulations to Philip Chase once again for the almost release date of his debut novel, which is 21st of March this month. Now we have arrived at the final section of SFF Spotlight. It is time to talk about new noteworthy release, and I have 4 books to talk about today, and all of them somehow came out on the 28th of February. Don't ask me how this happened, but it just happened that way. And the first one is Darkblade Awakener, the 6th book in the Darkblade series by Andy Peloquin. I managed to snag a free copy of the first book up to the 5th book last week, but honestly, I have owned the first book for quite a while now. I actually did the cover reveal to the first book, Assassin, and I think this one will feature, of course, an assassin and an epic story. I mean, the 5th book is 1,200 pages long, and the 6th book on Kindle page count is 1,600 page long. That's Darkblade Awakener, this book I'm talking about right now. And yeah, the cover art, all of them are done by Luciano Fleitas, and I think they all look really good. I think Andy has mentioned this series will be about 12 books long, so yeah, it is still a long way from the end of the series, but it will be epic. That's all I know. I mean, it is a 12 book series, so I think it will have to be very epic. Another book that was released on the 28th of February is the conclusion to the Burning Blade and Silver Eye trilogy by Django Wexler. So this one is for the Emperor of Ruin. I really enjoyed reading Ashes of the Sun. I haven't read the second book yet, Blood of the Chosen, but considering how much I enjoyed Ashes of the Sun, I think I will at least have a good time reading the rest of the trilogy. Now, I know that there is a recap of what happened in the first book in the beginning of Blood of the Chosen, and I expect there will be summaries for the first two books in the beginning of Emperor of Ruin as well. But I think I will reread the series from the beginning. I think that's my plan anyway, and I don't know when I can make that happen, but yeah, I look forward to reading it someday. And for the remaining two new Noteworthy released to Spotlight today, both of them have been receiving many amazing praises, and also they are quite popular, or should I say incredibly popular. And the first one is The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This is the first book in her newest series. It is unrelated to the Devabha trilogy, but I think it takes place in the same world as the Devabha trilogy. I absolutely love the US cover art of this book, and because of that I actually bought myself a copy of it. I'm still waiting for it to arrive to my place. I don't know when that will arrive, but I own the advanced reading copy of this book for quite a while now, and I look forward to reading this one and reviewing it on most likely my channel as well. Reviewing it within this year. The US cover art is done by Ivan Belikov, and yeah, it looked magnificent, just magnificent. And finally, the last Noteworthy release to talk about today is for a book with a cover art done by Ivan Belikov as well, and this is also released on the 28th of February, and this one is A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha, Shannon. So A Day of Fallen Night is a standalone prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. The cover art to this series so far are so amazing. I love the cover art so much, but I actually haven't read Priory of the Orange Tree or anything by Samantha Shannon yet. But yeah, this series, The Roots of Chaos, is so popular. I see it all the time on bookish social media. So yeah, that's it for today's SFF Spotlight video. I know that's a lot of news to take in, but I try to be brief. Sorry if I cannot offer many commentaries on each topic, because yeah, there are a lot of topics to cover. If I offer very detailed commentary, well, this video will end up taking much longer to finish. But I will just mention one more thing, and this is unrelated to books. So this one is for Elden Ring, one of my top favorite video games of all time. So From Software just announced there is a DLC expansion in development right now. It is titled The Shadow of the Earth Tree, and I am just so excited. Over the past few years, Elden Ring and Sekiro, basically games by From Software, are the only video games that actually can make me want to stop reading for a while and just sink myself into playing video games again. I'm playing God of War Ragnarok right now, and I don't even feel that urge. I mean, it is an incredible game, but I don't feel that addiction like I did when I was playing Elden Ring or Sekiro or Bloodborne, or From Software games to be more precise. And I am so excited for this DLC expansion. It will be amazing. Based on From Software record with DLC, this one will be amazing as well. So yeah, that's really the end of today's SFF Spotlight video, and I want to say thank you so much to all of you who keep watching my SFF Spotlight. It is somehow one of the most consistently statistically good videos on my channel, and I truly appreciate all of you watching it and giving me comments, nice comments about it. I will keep on doing my best to keep all of you updated on what's going on in adult science fiction and fantasy. So yeah, that's it for me today. Do let me know what you think about today's SFF Spotlight video. Let me know which news excites you the most. Again, I know there is a lot of news to absorb today, but yeah, I hope that this video today has been incredibly helpful to you. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.